Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. My name is Spencer Walsh. We got a great one for you here today. We are talking today, I don't know if you heard, we're talking about the House Judiciary Committee's contempt vote. They're going to be holding William Barr in contempt of Congress, apparently. Alabama's abortion measure, the Denver city's decriminalization of hallucinogenic mushrooms. Interesting stuff here on this Thursday morning. I'm coming today a little bit late, of course. But it's okay. All right, so the fight over Robert Mueller's report now has escalated quite dramatically. So, where the House Judiciary Committee on Wednesday recommended holding Attorney General William Barr in contempt for failing to provide an unredacted version of the special counsel's report and its underlying evidence to Congress. And I think it's a good move here by them, because I think it's you got to show the proper respect. You just have to, because you cannot just let. You cannot just let the new policy of this administration be, okay, I'm just going to break the law and get away with it. You cannot make the president above the law, because that's really what he is right now. People say, oh, contempt vote, that's a little aggressive. But people are forgetting, it gets just so warped in this time period, in this time frame where everyone's running around with their hair on fire every 20 minutes, that, this is, again, we are seeing this White House and this Department of Justice break the law, break any kind of norm you ever thought about. That's broken. This is not a good time to be in the Department of Justice right now. It's not a part of time to thank the president above the law. Cause it's a good time to thank the president above the law, because he is he's getting away with. William Barr's getting away with not answering to subpoenas. They're just running around reckless, roughshod. And it's ridiculous. So, yeah, the vote was along party lines. No shocker there. It came out hours after President Trump asserted executive privilege to shield the report. The Justice Department, which asked the president to step in, called the vote politically motivated and unnecessary. It seemed inevitable that the competing claims would have to be settled in the courts, saying, quote, "We are now in a constitutional crisis." That's Jerry Nadler of New York, the Judiciary Committee chairman. Democrats are frustrated with Trump's blanket refusal to cooperate with their investigation. Some lawmakers who previously urged caution are now actually reconsidering impeachment, because you just cannot be doing this stuff. This continued breaking of the law, this just continues to make a better and better case for impeachment. I don't know. I would count myself as one of those Democrats who's kind of urge caution, although they're definitely not talking about me. I would say, yeah. Back then, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I don't know if this is the best idea. It's going to be very tough. You're going to lay out a very convincing case. But, this is ridiculous. How are you going to let him just do this like that? So, this is just not good. So our fight is not just about the Mueller report, although we have to have access to the Mueller report, Nadler said during a debate. Our fight is about defending the rights of Congress as an independent branch to hold the president, any president, accountable. The Justice Department, the White House, and the House Republicans lined up to contest the claim, shooting back the Democrats were the ones abusing their powers to manufacture a crisis. Honestly, if there was anything of this magnitude happening to any other Democratic president with the Republicans in the position that the Democrats are in now, or just in any position of any kind of power whatsoever, that president would already be impeached. It would be that simple. If Trump, I don't know, just based on all the prior evidence, what they did with Benghazi, every little investigation they call for, hearing, the email stuff just in recent memory here, the fact that if Donald Trump was a Democrat and Republicans controlled the Senate and the House in the way they did in the first few years of Trump's presidency, and Trump is facing this kind of Mueller report investigation, he'd already be impeached. It's just that simple. It's a political party line move every single solitary time, except for my thing, this one has way more merit, because it's literally just releasing a report that already pretty much vindicates the president. It's been lightly redacted release already. I don't get the reason why they're not releasing this. I really don't get it. Is there something that we're missing here? Is there any other hidden conclusion? I don't think so. The conclusions are there. But, is there any more potential damning evidence? I just don't get why they are hiding this like that. It just seems to be ridiculous. And risking contempt of Congress to hide it just makes no sense. Not at all. It'll be interesting to hear Robert Mueller's testimony. This is interesting to hear William Barr's testimony on this, if we ever get it from him from an actually good source. a somewhat antagonistic source in any way whatsoever, not just one that's just lobbing up softballs all the time. But yeah, that is all going to be very, very interesting stuff. That's all something I want to see. So, spokeswoman for the Justice Department, Carrie Kupek, deplored the contempt vote as politically motivated and unnecessary, and the two sides traded blame over who would cut off weeks of negotiations over a possible compromise. Regrettably, Chairman Nadler's actions have prematurely terminated the accommodation process and focused the president to assert executive privilege to preserve the status quo. No one, including Chairman Nadler and his committee, will force the Department of Justice to break the law, except for literally the Department of Justice, because you broke the law. You refused to comply with subpoena. That is breaking the law. You can't just dodge House committee hearings. That's also pretty much breaking the law as well. That's breaking the law. It's just that simple. It's literally just that simple. You cannot do that. That is not okay. And Jesus Christ. Yeah, the fact that what in the world is going on? I don't know. It seems to be wild. Yeah, so anyway, wow. So we turn to our next big story today. It is in Alabama, where they're seeking to criminalize most abortions. The state Senate could vote today on a measure that would entirely outlaw most abortions at every stage of pregnancy, from conceptions on, and criminalize the procedure for doctors. Those who perform abortions will be charged with a felony, face up to 99 years in prison. Jesus Christ. Exceptions for rape, incest, and serious threats to women's health are being considered. New abortion restrictions have sped through state houses in the South and Midwest, but the procedures proposed in Alabama go further than any. The effort is unfolding as Republicans, newly emboldened by the shifting alignment of the Supreme Court, intensify their campaign to curb access to the procedure. So, they're doing it pretty well so far. They pretty much made abortion illegal in all but name only. Alabama's measure stands in stark contrast to the slower, piecemeal approach that conservatives and abortion critics have often pursued to chip away the Roe v. Wade decision, which legalized abortion up to the point when a fetus was viable outside the womb. So, yeah, another kind of absolutely ridiculous thing where only the Democrats could do is just protest and send more people to testify in their minority-held committees. Yeah, so that's the rough part about that. So we're gonna be keeping an eye on that story there for you. It is it's very disturbing, that's for sure. All right, so in Denver, they become the first city to decriminalize the magic mushrooms, as Denver's on track, according to Denver Post here, to become the first city to decriminalize psychedelic mushrooms. Preliminary reports showed that 50.6% of voters were in favor of the initiative 301, a proposal to make adult possession and use of psilocybin mushrooms the lowest priority for the Denver law enforcement. It's been one hell of a 21 and a half hours, the 301 campaign manager Kevin Matthews. If these results hold, this is an example of the absurd comedy of a great metaphor. Against all odds, we prevailed. This is what happens when a small team of dedicated and passionate people unite under a single idea to create change, he says. So, as Wednesday afternoon, 89,320 votes were cast in favor of the initiative, with 87,341 against. So, the Denver Election Division, which is still accepting military and overseas ballots, will have the official count by May 6th. All right. Yeah, that is all very interesting stuff. So, yeah, we now turn to a little bit more international news with the Pope. He announced Thursday morning a sweeping new law that will make it easier for whistleblower priests and nuns to report their bosses for sexual abuse cover-ups. The law gives unprecedented power to the Catholic Church's 451,000 priests and 660,000 religious sisters who until now could not go directly to the Vatican with complaints about their supervising bishops, cardinals, or superior nuns. The motu proprio, or papal decree, is effective immediately, and it gives anyone within the church who has well-founded motives to believe that a cleric or sisters engaged in sexual abuse of a minor, sexual misconduct with an adult, or is in possession of child pornography, the mandate to report to them. The law does not, however, require anyone with knowledge of abuse or to cover up to report the offense to police or law enforcement officials. So, I guess it's a start. It's a start, folks. It's a start. All right. Yeah. In a visit to London on Wednesday, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo warned about the economic and security risks of cooperating with Huawei, the Chinese technology giant. Britain is considering allowing the company to help build a 5G cellular network, saying, quote, Pompeo says China steals intellectual property for military purposes and wants to dominate AI, space technology, ballistic missiles, and many other areas. He also issued a stark reminder to his hosts that the compromised security would restrict the U.S. ability to share intelligence information with Britain. So that's a little disturbing. Yeah. Interestingly enough, folks, don't cross the picket line, as the ride-hailing company Uber's anticipated stock debut on Friday has become an exercise in dialing back expectations, as Uber plans to price its offering at or below the expected range of $44 to $50 a share. That would value the company at around $86 billion, well below the $100 billion that it forecast this past month. And also, guys, we're forgetting there's a strike going on. There's a massive strike going on about how Uber can just literally not do anything to pay its drivers. But it's really part of a global strike to protest. Just employment conditions with Uber in general are just awful, awful, awful. So it's interesting to see that they're out there, they're protesting, and shout out to them for actually doing some good work there and really nice stuff. Yeah, because it's been a problem for a while. We have seen Uber just kind of really ignoring a lot of the most important, a lot of most important things about the driver, like benefits, like pay under the kind of label of subcontractors, stuff like that. So it's good to see some change of that, and smart strategic timing, obviously, with the public offering coming up as well. All right, so yeah, speaking of BBC, I was never saying that, but anyway, BBC. They fired a radio host after accused of racism for comparing a royal baby, the mixed race baby, to a chimp. Danny Baker, a radio host over there, showed an image of an old-timey couple holding hands with the chimp dressed in clothes with the caption, "Royal baby leaves hospital." So that's great. Critics claimed he was comparing Harry and Meghan's new mixed race baby to Archie. The new mixed-race baby Archie to a chimpanzee. Following a backlash, the broadcaster insisted he did not mean to be racist, saying it was a joke about the royals versus circus animals in posh clothes. He went on, "Sorry if my gag pic of the little fella in the posh outfit has whipped some up. Never occurred to me because, well, mind not diseased. As soon as those good enough to point it out, its possible connotations got in touch, down it came. And that's it." However, the BBC confirmed that Baker had been fired from a Saturday morning radio show. So, yeah, seems to be a big deal guy, but not the best tweet to do, especially about the royal family at this point in time. And the royal family is still pretty, I guess, well-respected in Britain. All right. A lot of here in the U.S., too. People forget. The strained relationship between North Korea and the U.S. took another turn for the worse Thursday after South Korea reported that Kim Jong-un's forces fired at least one unidentified projectile. The launch comes just less than a week after North Korea test-fired several new weapon systems, threatening war with each other, with the United States since 2017, obviously. Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un, they were going back and forth. According to CNN, North Korean state media reported the launches last Saturday were part of a drill to check the operating ability of large-caliber, long-range, multiple rocket launchers and tactical guided weapons. It's unclear exactly what North Korea fired Thursday, but South Korea said it took place in the northwestern Pyeongbuk province, which is believed to be the home of about 20 of Pyongyang's undeclared missile facilities. Facebook co-founder Chris Hughes has called on the government, the U.S. government, to break up the social network Facebook, saying it's become far too powerful and that Mark Zuckerberg must be held accountable. Chris Hughes, who started Facebook with Zuckerberg at their Harvard dorm, wrote in a New York Times opinion piece that Thursday that he feels anger and responsibility over Facebook's response to sloppy privacy practices and the slow response to Russian agents, violent rhetoric, and fake news, and the unbounded drive to capture more and more of our time and attention. He defended Zuckerberg personally, calling him a good, kind person, but he said, "I'm angry that his focus on growth has led him to sacrifice security and civility." Hughes added to calls from Senator Elizabeth Warren and Senator Ted Cruz, who have called for regulation, saying, "We're in a nation with a tradition of reigning in monopolies, no matter how well-intentioned the leaders of those companies may be.